Tonight, we continue our investigation into alleged sexual assaults happening at Cedar Point employee housing. We've uncovered 27 reports of assaults over the last 5 years.
One survivor now telling WTOL 11 that she believes the man who raped her should never have even been allowed to work at the park. Each sexual assault survivor has their own story and their own trauma. But some women who worked at Cedar Point tell Kaylee Marintet they have something in common.
Casey Wilson was 19 when Cedar Point hired her.
I moved there on a Friday because I lived 3 hours away.
It was a chance to test out the real world away from home, living at Cedar Point's employee housing. Not knowing many people, she quickly made a friend named Donnell Folks.
He asked me if I had a Snapchat, and I said, yeah, I do. So he added me on Snapchat, and that's how we communicated.
She says she got some dinner and went over to his place Sunday afternoon, and they started watching a show.
So I ended up falling asleep, and then I'm like a heavy sleeper. Like I don't wake up to alarm clocks. I don't wake up to anything, and I woke up to him inside of me, and I pushed him away, and I just got up and I just left, and I didn't know what to do.
Her trust now blurred as she tried to piece together what had just happened.
I wanted to be away and do something for me for once and enjoy something for me.
Her family came and packed her things before she even worked a single day at Cedar Point. Before she left Sandusky, she went to the hospital and got a sexual assault nurse examination done, also known as a SANE kit. The kit showed Folks' DNA, according to police records. But there was something in that hospital room that haunted Casey.
The one nurse that was doing my kit was like, she was like, wow, you're the first this year that's happened. Like saying like, I'm the first girl from Cedar Point this year. And I was like, it just made me in my head like thinking like, and how much it happens to like girls.
How much this happens to girls, let alone how many girls say Folks was their attacker. Police records show 3 women, including Casey, accused Folks of rape. The first comes from Toledo in 2017. Folks wasn't charged in that case, but his DNA was taken, which is why he was already in the system when police got the other 2 rape reports. The second was reported in 2018 at Cedar Point employee housing, just like Casey's story.
I just don't think Cedar Point really does like a good job. Like, yes, they do a background check, but I feel like they need the workers, so they will hire anybody. They just care about the money and not the people.
Casey says Cedar Point hired Folks again in 2019, and that's when she became the 3rd victim. Folks is in prison for sexual battery in Casey's case after being convicted of that charge. He was also indicted for sexual battery in the 2018 case, but the charge was eventually dismissed. Casey wants to know why Cedar Point allowed Donnell Folks back as an employee after the rape accusations in Toledo in 2017 and then 2018 at Cedar Point housing.
After this happened to me, I got nothing from Cedar Point. I got nothing from my managers, nothing.
A place she once loved, now a place she can't physically bring herself to visit.
I still have issues with trusting people. I do go out, but it's only with like 2 friends. Anything else, I just stick with my parents and I just stick home, and that's just basically what I do now. Like, I just don't want to do much anymore.
Going back to Casey's point, how much this happens to girls. How many girls are sexually assaulted at Cedar Point's employee housing? Sandusky police gave us 27 alleged sexual assault reports from the employee housing facilities in the last 5 seasons at Cedar Point. But since Cedar Point police won't turn over its records, we don't know the true number of reports. But it's not just Casey. We've heard from 2 other sexual assault survivors, both former Cedar Point employees. They and other former workers are adamant that there's more assaults than we know about. This is Raven Jones and Elle. Both worked at Cedar Point. Both allegedly raped in Cedar Point employee housing facilities.
My sweater shawl thing was on the floor with my shirt, and I didn't know where my pants were. And I woke up and there was a condom stuck to my leg.
Elle says her alleged rapist just barged into her room.
I had my door unlocked to go back and forth in the bathroom getting ready for bed, and I was taking out my contacts, and he just walked in, like, unannounced, and like he grabbed me and pushed me up against the bed, and he like shoved this vape in my mouth.
3 women with different stories and a dark similarity. Raven says Cedar Point didn't offer her much support besides an unpaid leave of absence. Elle, on the other hand, says she and her dad, Jeff, were contacted constantly.
Yes, Mr. Harwood, this is Justin Harris. I'm National Counsel for Cedar Point.
Elle says that officials with the park tried to offer her compensation. She filed a lawsuit against Cedar Point. No matter how Cedar Point has handled cases in the past, there's an agreement that there's a need for change in the future.
They need more security.
No one should ever have to go to their job and think that they might be a rape that day.
They're allowing it. It's extremely disturbing and unsettling.
Cedar Point officials did give us a statement saying the safety of our guests and associates is always our top priority. Through a variety of methods, our on-site housing is monitored 24/7. They went on to say Cedar Point takes these matters very seriously. All reports of associate misconduct are immediately responded to, reviewed, and if appropriate, escalated to local law enforcement for further investigation. The full statement is on WTOL.com, but we are still working with Cedar Point leadership to sit down with us. Tomorrow at 11, we sit down with advocates for victims of sexual assault who talk about why survivors don't always come forward and why some have never come forward. You can text the word HELP right now to 419-248-1100. We'll send you resources if you or someone you know is a victim of sexual assault, and information on how to get in touch with 11 Investigates if you have a story to share. You'll also get a link to our full investigation sent right to your phone.